Today we're talking about how you just slowly start to notice there's just slow change in your life to the point where you don't really realize it till you look back on things. And that's how the story has been for me. You coming with? So sad. As you heard, we're going to Bend. I've been here so many times. I've filmed things here so many times. And it's fascinating to me to think, I don't think about how much life has changed and I have changed until I look back. Oh, and also, we'll talk a tiny bit about knee pain today. The information has never changed. It's just how I deliver it. This is so low. Who uses a 6-foot tripod as a vlog? Lindsay, my wife, and her mom are on a hike that's not ideal for dogs, Misery Ridge in Bend. So Bennett and I get the nice walk around the river, and this is actually time that you and I get to spend together. So this is kind of fun, right? To talk about why the part that is injured, specifically your knee that we were kind of referencing, gets injured. So we take the power away from the injury and put the power more into the movement, and we can change movement. And thereby, when you change movement, you change pain. Yeah, we got people waiting on us. Ooh, it's bright out today. Ready? Yeah, let's go. Thank you very much. He has his moments, but he's a really good boy. Oh gosh. What's up? How are you? I'm good. That's another good spot. If we reframe it in that sense, you then begin to see that how can I change the movement is something that's a question you can answer. Not how can I get rid of my meniscus pain, not how can I get rid of my patellar tendonitis. Think about, those are cool ducks. Think about geese, geese, they're geese, gooses, geese, gooses, geese. We got some rock climbers, so let's look at this. This is pretty dope. That's ridiculous. Some eagles over there? What are those? Wow. They're climbing. That's amazing. The dog nearly pulled me off a mountain. You almost witnessed my death. Well, you wouldn't have, because then the camera probably would have fallen too, but we're good, we got it. Wait. That's a big jump. We made it. These are not hiking shoes. So when we're talking about knee pain, identify when it hurts. No duh, right? Likely anytime your knee flexes. Specifically, getting up, getting down, begins to tell us, okay, go in the water. Begins to tell us you are not good at those movements, and that's not to shame you, that's just keeping you accountable. When we analyze those movements, anytime that knee bends, it's likely moving out of a position of comfort and into a position of threat. What does that mean? So let's scoot you around. So when I take a step, if I am to move out of the direction that I'm going, like I go in or out, that likely means that my knee is going to take more stress on the outside where it's getting pinched or on the inside where it's getting stressed. And within that is also a twisting plane. So as my knee rotates inwards, my foot also rotates inwards. You can maybe see that. So when my foot rotates inwards, it's also adding a little bit of twisting in my shin, my tibia. So what that means is we're also getting a little twisting in the knee joint. So the knee is the femur and the tibia, so the tibiofemoral joint. When my foot rotates inwards, that affects my tibia to get my tibia to rotate inwards. And if my knee's also rotating inwards, we're getting my femur is going to rotate inwards. We're getting some shearing, some twisting shearing in the tibiofemoral joint in the knee. So that's where meniscus come into play. That's where ACLs come into play. All these cruciate and collateral ligaments. This is great when people walk by. They're like, what's he doing? When we talk about those things, it helps us understand if I'm trying to move in this direction, forward, we'll talk about the planes of movement eventually, and I cheat. Hey, get out of the bushes. We cheat by moving inwards and outwards, or we lose control by moving inwards and outwards. That means that those ligaments and those structures are getting injured, getting stressed a bit more. We add more and more stress. Eventually we hit our capacity, and then we go over that capacity, and then we feel pain eventually. What's important about it is understanding the planes, understanding the directions of movement, and then helping us to understand that if we get more and more and more irritation to that area, which means use, if you do a lot of things poorly, eventually you'll start to break down faster. That's what happens as we get older. You don't get age does not equals pain, but age equals we do less and we challenge our body less, and that's why pain happens more frequently. I step onto this rock and I'm going to take the stress. I'm exaggerating and I put all my weight into this knee. That's an unstable knee. Unstable knees, unstable buildings. Buildings can fall over if they're unstable, right? So we want that knee to be nice and stable, which are the muscles above and below the knee, control the knee to keep it really nice and stable. So my butt needs to be active. I don't have to think about it. It just has to work to keep this knee stable as I transverse over the knee joint. Does that make sense? I don't know. It's kind of janky. When we talk about injuries, knee pain, we need to look at movement all the time. Any sort of injury, we need to look at movement. That's what we need to learn. Specifically with knee pain, we need to look at why your knee's hurting. Film yourself, look at yourself, get out of things, do whatever you can to get some footage of yourself doing things that hurt, and be like, oh, that kind of looks ugly. I'm not saying you are ugly, but if it looks ugly, it likely is not working the way it should. Look at that. Who is that, bud? It's crazy how much you change. It's like slow growth. I don't really recognize it. You persistently do something, you persistently get better at it. I'm not saying I'm great at it now, but it's pretty cool to see how much I have changed. Getting comfortable with how I talk. Trying to articulate in a more captivating way, keep it more interesting. The information hasn't changed, but how you deliver it has. It's just kind of cool to think about your change. We going? We going? So it's still extremely relevant about knee pain. The more something moves, the more something gets used, the more it has the ability to get used too much in not great ways, inefficient ways. So it's the best way to think about that. Learn to stabilize it. Certain things need to move more, and certain things need to move less. So we call that mobility needs to move more, stability needs to move less. Your knee is something that needs more stability. That's where strength comes into play. Strength equals stability. Is that a good stop, Goobers? And we're going to look at how do we release the glutes. Scoliosis is a condition that, without being restricted by pain, being reliant on pain meds. Get PT first.